Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Jerry Walk and Moose right here live from the DC Sports Chat, coming to you every Sunday night, 7 to 9, Wednesday nights, 8 to 9, talking the latest in the DC sports arena. We are currently joined on the line by one of our favorite writers out of the DC area, a guy that's going to bring it good tonight. I know he's been following what Mike Shanahan had to say in his 30-minute presser today. We're joined on the line, Rich Tandler, RealRedskins.com. How you doing, Rich?
Hey, doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Rich, let's jump right into it. Today, I saw you tweet that Mike Shanahan just threw out blogging gold. He was on for about 29 minutes, all I got to see from Redskins.com. I heard you say 30 minutes, so I think we're close there. Definitely a lot on RG3. Give us a little insight on how you think Mike Shanahan at this point feels about his recently acquired second overall draft pick.
Well, apparently he feels the same way he did when he made the trade. He feels as though he made the trade back in early March to move up to get in position to draft Robert Griffin III. But he he was very, very he was almost giddy. Mike Shanahan and giddy, you don't usually hear that in the same sentence.
Right.
Very cut and dried, very straightforward when he's talking. When he's praising somebody, he's usually very measured in his praise. But just talking about his arm, his ability to do, he said he can do everything that he wanted in this offense and more. Like he was talking about having him do some option plays every once in a while just because of his speed, not really, I guess, and I think we'll delve into that a little bit more next time we talk to him, but, trying to, take advantage of his speed, if the guy's on the edge, commit one way or the other and let him either pitch out or take off. But just, talking about his learning the playbook and talking about his just overall attitude and demeanor. So, I think Mike Shanahan thinks he made a pretty good decision in moving up to get RG3.
Absolutely, Rich, and I'm going to be the one to throw this question out there. I know we were going to get to it eventually anyway, but obviously there's been a lot of talk about the fact that in the fourth round, the Redskins decided to go the route of taking Kirk Cousins out of Michigan State, who a lot of people projected as maybe even as high as a second round value. How do you feel about that pick that the Redskins made, and how would you respond to anybody who says that it was a terrible pick?
Well, I'm not quite sure how people can, not think that a quality backup quarterback is necessary in the NFL. Yes, and certainly worth the price of a fourth round pick. It's going to be, and Mike Shanahan did indicate that he would keep three quarterbacks this year, so that RG3, Rex Grossman, and Cousins would be the three quarterbacks. He said he was excited about the possibility of having these three guys on the roster. Having obviously Griffin, having the experienced hand in the NFL in general, and this offense in particular in Grossman, and Cousins, who certainly seems to be a quick study and somebody who's going to be a quality backup. So, I just don't get. You can pick up a veteran backup quarterback. You can go through that and teach him the offense and try to run that through every year. But I think spending a fourth rounder on Kirk Cousins, if he can, win a game or two here and there, if he can maybe bring a second round, he can pull an Andy Reid of the Eagles and get a second round draft pick for him somewhere down the line. I think it's a good pick. Could you have addressed other needs there? Sure. But backup quarterback is a need. It's something you have to have in the NFL.
Right. All right, Rich, let's I think the big news that came out, and this will run rampant on Twitter, Robert Griffin III is a starter, period, is the way Mike Shanahan, I guess he was kind of run into it by whoever asked him the question, but let's talk about that, him naming Robert Griffin III the starter right after minicamp. Is he naming him a starter only because they gave up what they gave up, or does he really feel that he is a better option than Rex Grossman after having spent all the time that Rex Grossman has spent in this offense?
Well, I think he decided. He said when his rough, kind of paraphrasing him in here. He said when you give up 2 firsts and a second to move up to take a guy, you have a plan, and basically the plan is to have him be the starting quarterback, and that's what he's the starter. Period. That kind of came a little while after he had talked about said that RG3 would be working with the starters in OTAs, but somebody did bring up they're Ian Cousins kind of on equal footing, and he said no. He said RG3 is the starter. Period. So he's going to get most of the reps in practice with the first team. And it sounds, from the sound of things, Grossman and Cousins will be fighting it out for second string. This decision was made a while ago. Now, obviously, he could change his mind if RG3 really is not grasping things. If he's really, if the middle of training camp rolls around and it's just obvious he isn't going to be ready, he can always change his mind. But I think he has every intention of just riding this thing through with Griffin and having him start in September in New Orleans.
Absolutely. And while we're on Robert Griffin III, I'm going to sneak one more RG3 question in there. And we talked about this just before you came on. Obviously, this is a guy who had tons of success in college, and he's got the makings of being a very good NFL quarterback. And we talked a little bit about what type of expectations people should have, not only as fans but just in general for Robert Griffin III in his rookie season. So, coming from somebody who knows the Redskins very well and knows the game of football, what do you think are some realistic expectations for how Robert Griffin III may perform this year?
Well, I think the expectation should be that it should be a more interesting team. It should be a more exciting team to watch. Will they win a whole lot more games? I think so. The quarterbacking for the Redskins last year was pretty subpar, especially in terms of turnovers. If he can turn the ball over a little less, if he can make a few more big plays, I think the Redskins could win a couple more games. Maybe I think 8-8 with if Griffin starts the whole season is a pretty realistic, a realistic goal. Whether it's something they'll make or not, I don't know. But I think 500 is a realistic goal. But they should be, relevant. With that, they've committed the worst of sins in the last decade or so. They've been both bad and boring. They really haven't been all that interesting to watch. Not many, offensive shootouts. You kind of, knew a lot of the time. Weren't necessarily getting blown out on the scoreboard, but, you kind of knew, fairly early on that when it wasn't their day. So I think it makes them interesting and exciting and makes it, perks up FedEx Field a little bit. On Sunday afternoons there, I think that would be a successful year.
Rich, you've been on our show numerous times. We have a live chat room that people are able to interact with us, interact with our guests. This question comes directly out of our chat room. This one says, Rich, I recently watched a 15-minute clip of Alfred Morris' blocking ability, and it's very impressive. Any chance the Redskins use him as a fullback running back?
Actually, and I think I wrote this in my minicamp report. I meant to if I didn't. It went on RealRedskins.com today. That he did line up at fullback on occasion today. Is a lead guy in an I formation. Now, we asked him last week. We asked Shanahan in his little post draft press conference. Is Morris a tailback or fullback? And he said he is a tailback, but. With the opportunity there with Mike Sellers gone, with no real backup fullback, if he at least has that flexibility, with that he could back up Darrell Young and know the position and learn it,